What's up, TLC Nation? It's 2024, and this is your favorite pastor, Pastor Tony Cash of the Leadership Church. I'm super excited about this year, the year of connectivity. Listen, you don't have time to wait. You got to get ready. I'm on fire with this word. Listen, send it to your friends, family members, share it, like the message, whatever you have to do, but it's time to get into the Word of God. Listen, I got a question for you in this year of connectivity. The question I have for you is, are you aggressive in your desire for connectivity? Are you passionate? Are you driven? Some of us are just a little too passive about connectivity. And today's message is going to really dig into that because I need us to get a little bit more aggressive about the right connectivity. Now, this aggressiveness that I need is this burning desire that says, whatever the connection I need, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get to that connection. I want us to operate in this result driven connection. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Result driven connections. Result driven connections. Because guess what? There are levels to this. Did you know there's level to connections? Some of you all have the internet and you're trying to be all cheap and you're trying to get the basic, and then you still like a lot of buffering. And then you can go to the next level where you can have 2 or 3 devices. And then you can go to that higher level where the whole neighborhood can be on your internet. And guess what? There's no buffering. You got to stop being cheap in your divine connectivity. You got to stop saying, I'm going to settle for the basic in my divine connectivity. Why? Because when we settle for the basics in our divine connectivity, we're settling for the basic results. We're settling for the basic joy. We're settling for the basic peace. We're settling for the basic prosperity. And I said to you, there are levels to this. And in this series, you're going to hear me talk about the different levels. We're going to talk about how do I research the right connectivity? How do I increase my desire? How do I increase my passion? How do I become dead set on having the right connectivity? How do I become set on having the correct connectivity? How do I become determined? See, someone who is results driven is typically motivated by achieving a specific goal. It's measurable. And they're looking for impactful results rather than just completing a task or going through the motions. See, one thing I want to talk to you about is that once you find the right connectivity, once you connect to the right thing, there's no mundane about it. It's all about going to the next level. Listen, it's about not connecting just to connect. It's about connecting for purpose, for reasons, to answer questions, to derive at solutions. It's about resolving matters or resolving situations. What do we say from the beginning? We're talking about results driven connection. What did I ask you? Are you aggressive in your desire for the right connectivity? Will you be aggressive in your desire for the next, for the right connectivity? Will you be driven and will you be one of the people that's too passive? All right, let's look at this thing now. Nothing with value simply connects just to connect. Everything that has value connects for purpose, connects for reason, connects for a desire to achieve or to achieve results. There's always a reason or a problem or an issue as to why things connect. Because if things simply connect, they become like an inanimate object. They become useless. When we connect with people just to connect without purpose, when we connect to things, to opportunities just to connect without purpose, then we become useless. And then you ask yourself, why did I connect to that place? Why did I connect to that person? Why did I connect to that idea? Because nothing is coming out of it. Let me say something to you. Note this. There's no need to connect to something that is valuable, that is beneficial, and you don't use those values or those benefits. What am I saying? A light connected to electricity, but it's never turned on is useless. Why would we plug that into the electricity when we have no plan on using the light? Interesting enough, the Bible has a little bit to say about light and its connections. Over in Matthew 5:14, it says, you are the light of the world. It says that a city that sits on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do they light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand. And it gives light to all who are what? In the house. Are you in the house today? Somebody say, I'm in the house, Pastor. I'm in the house. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and do what? Glorify the Father that is in heaven. Two things with value that connect. See, two things with values that connect can help each other. Two things with values, listen to what I said. Two things with values that connect can help each other. In our story today, you're going to find this woman that we're going to talk about. And this woman brings the value of faith, and Jesus brings the value of healing. In order for there to be successful connectivity, they both needed what the other had. Hebrews 11 reminds us that without faith, it's impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who what? Earnestly seek him. I have a question for you today. What is the value that you bring to connectivity? Do you know? Do you know what your value is? Do you know what you do best? Who you are best? How you do best? Where your gifts, talents, and opportunities lie within you, so that when someone have connectivity with you, that you can show your value. So this year, I'm going to pray that you lose the spirit of being, and it's on the screen. I want to say it properly, and ask, A-S-K, hold, H-O-L-E, and ask hold. Now you say, well, what's that, Pastor? That's a person who asked for advice but refused to follow it. Do you know anybody like that? See, 2024, we're going to remove ourselves from people who ask for advice, who says, I want to get better. I want a better connectivity. I want to get higher in life. I want to do more, become more. But then when you give them that advice, they say, well, you know, I'm not going to use it. So I want you to look at your life and the results of it and be honest about the fact that you need help, that you need a greater connectivity with something, someone, in some place. But you've had an issue hearing and doing what you know you should do. Brene Brown says it like this. She says, I define connection as the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued, when they can give and receive without judgment. The story of the woman with the issue of blood that we're going to cover today is a great story about connectivity. The biblical account found in Mark 5:25 through 35, the narrative revolves around a woman who had been suffering from a continuous flow of blood for 12 years. Now, according to the gospel, the woman had sought medical help from various physicians, but she couldn't find any relief. In her desperation, she approaches Jesus, believing that if she could just touch the hem of his garment, she would be made whole. She approaches him and says, if I can just have even the slightest connectivity of what I need, then things will change. I'm not going to preach right there, but I'm trying to help you understand what Pastor Tony wants you to get, that it's not even that you have a full connectivity with what you need. Sometimes just the introduction to what you need, the person you need in your life, the place you need in your life will begin to start change in your life. Is there anybody who understands that? So she believed that if she had that connectivity, she would be healed. She had a great act of faith. She reaches out and touches the edge of Jesus' cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped, and she felt that she was healed. Jesus, being aware that the power left him, he turns to the crowd and says, who touched me? And they said, well, God, Jesus, all of these people are surrounding you. He said, yeah, but I felt power leaving my body. And the woman realizes she cannot hide anymore, because once you connect to Jesus, he begins to illuminate who you are, and what you have been. And Jesus commends her faith and tells her that her faith has made her whole, that she is complete to go in peace and be free from her suffering. Many people see this as an illustration of her faith, her persistence, and Jesus' compassion. And it is, boys and girls. I'm not questioning that. We see what happens in the story. But one of the things that I want to get out today to you is that it is also a story of what happens when there's relentlessness on one behalf to have connectivity to the right person, to the right place, or the right thing. What am I implying? I am implying that often the lack of success and growth in a person's life can be tied to their level of connectivity in life. Jesus is a higher level of connectivity. John 15:5 says, I am the vine, you are the branches. He who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. For without me, he says, you can do nothing. Listen to what I'm trying to tell you. This is an illustration that outside of him, she could not be healed, that he was the next level in her, in what she needed. That although she had gone to the doctors, although she had spent all of her money, they weren't the connection that she needed. Jesus Christ was the next level up for what she needed. The balloon cannot go any higher than the strength or effectiveness of its content. That's why you can blow your breath in a balloon, and guess what happens? When you blow your breath in the balloon, it floats for a little while, and then what happens? It hits the floor. Put some helium in that balloon, then all of a sudden, you can take that same balloon that fell to the floor with your breath and now watch it go to the uttermost of the sky. What am I trying to tell you? That it matters what you are connected to. You can see a direct correlation to some people or many people's success in life based on their connection. This is how I like to look at it. I liken the success of connectivity in technology to the level of success in connectivity with humans. Sufficient or inefficient technological connectivity can have a significant impact on the performance, efficiency, and effectiveness of systems and processes. Effective or ineffective human connectivity can have a significant impact on our spiritual, physical, and financial success in life. It is incumbent that we understand that levels of connections determines the level of success we have. So just like the advances in technologies continue to drive improvement in technology, continues to push society to many of its greatest achievements, likewise, should the people we connect with do the same for us through human connectivity. Our desire should be to connect with those who continue to pursue excellence in their relationship with God, excellence in their health, excellence in their wealth, and overall life. As the people we connect with advance in knowledge, ability, ideas, and status, by default, our personal opportunity for growth increases. Ooh, let me say that again. As the people we connect with advance in knowledge, ability, ideas, and status, by default, our personal opportunity for growth increases. Let's look at the signs behind the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years and what she would have experienced. She would have experienced physical fatigue, making it challenging to carry out daily activities. She would have experienced emotional impact, mood swings, anxiety, and depression. She would have had an impaired quality of life. It interfered with her work and social activities. She would have had reduced productivity, decreased productivity in life, at work, or whatever it was she was purposed to do in life. She would have had pain and discomfort. She would have had social limitations. She had to avoid touching others because it was considered a breakage of the law for her to touch anyone. So she had to limit her social interactions. So here's the thing. I have questions for you. As we talk about leveling up, as we talk about this whole idea of connectivity, who we connect to, where we connect to, the thing we connect to, the ideas we connect to, I have questions for you. Have you recognized the areas of your life that has impaired your quality of life for too long? The woman did. She recognized that this issue of blood flow that I've experienced for 12 years has wrecked my quality of life. See, what I'm trying to tell you is that you won't know what, who, or where you need to connect to or the ideas you need to connect to until you recognize what's impaired in your life. Next question. Does the site of the issue, the site of the failure, cause a rational reaction? Well, it did in the woman. Why? Because it caused her to spend all of her money to try to get the right connection, the right connectivity. Next question. What is your level of take action? How far will you go to get better? Will you push past the crowd and reach for the healing? Will you not make excuses for why you can't connect to the right people? Why you can't have what God purposed you to have? Why you can't be who God purposed you to be? Will you push past that? People hold on to their identities even if they know that the aspect of those identities are harmful. We become too prideful to ask for help. We become too prideful to find the connectivity that's going to be life changing, the new place, the new person, the new opportunity. Next question. What have you done so far to show that you're at least putting forth an effort. See, she went broke for her healing. She gave all she had for her healing. Would you go broke for your dream? Would you go broke for your purpose? Would you go broke for your goals? Would you go broke for your desires? Would you do whatever it takes to get there? Would you push through the crowd? Would you spend a lifetime trying to achieve what you believe God gave you time in life to have, to be, and become? Would you spend a lifetime trying to achieve what you believe God gave you time in life to become or have or be? Or are you going to be passive? Are you going to be the person that stands there and bleed to death and never experience purpose and never experience what God had called you to be, never experience what God called you to do because you feel like if it's not already in you, then I guess it's not meant for me? But sometimes what's not in you, God has in another person, and that's what 2024 is all about. It's about divine connectivity. It's about getting out of our comfort zone. It's about not saying that because I don't personally have it means it's not meant for me, but there may be someone else that I need to find. There may be another place that I need to go. But here's the thing about it. What's your limit you're willing to go to for change? See, small changes in a person's behavior is an indication that bigger changes are on the way. So maybe before you commit to cleaning the whole house on a regular basis, you just keep one room clean consistently. Maybe you just keep the kitchen clean before you say, well, I'm going to start 2024 making sure I have a clean. Well, maybe you start a small change. See, small change begets bigger changes because now we're just dealing with the right behavior. So what's your limit you're willing to go to for change? The woman in the story gave all until she found her healing. Pain forced her out of her natural comfort zone. Desperation set in and she recognized that she needed more than what was in her, more than what was already around her, more than she already knew. I'm trying to say to you and ask you, is your pain enough to drive you to desperation so that you can get to the next level, to drive you to get to the right place, to connect with the right person? She recognized that the norm was not working for her and that she needed a different level of connectivity, that she had to find someone else who could do what the doctors couldn't do. She had to find someone else who could do what her money couldn't do. Well, you say, well, Tony, that's easier said than done. I'm a shy person. Well, you say, well, Tony, that's easier said than done. I'm a prideful person. Well, you say, Tony, that's easier said than done. I really don't know a lot of people. I really don't have a lot of people that are at the level that I want to get to. I don't know those kind of people. Well, the Bible didn't say that she knew Jesus. The Bible didn't say that he was in her call log. The Bible didn't say that he was her friend. I'll tell you what the scripture says. It says she heard about him, and what she heard was enough to cause her to know, I need to know that man. See, I'm trying to help you understand that we have to understand that sometimes all we gonna do is hear a word. It ain't nothing else coming. You just gonna hear a word. Like today, for somebody today, God ain't getting ready to show you the person you need to connect with. He's not getting ready to show you the place you need to connect with. No, he said, right now, I'm just getting ready to stir up your spirit so that you'll start searching for that higher level of connectivity in people. So she didn't know him, but she heard about him. How well is your hearing? Well, let me tell you why I ask you that. Because hearing is not just about the audible sound that comes through your ears, but it is also about the sound and how it reaches your mind and your heart and your response. Because if I ask you to do something, and you say you hear me, but you don't do it, then I have to question how well you hear or receive. I want to give you some scriptures, and it should come up on your screen that will help you in your own study time with this message. Proverbs 13 and 20, it tells us about walking with the wise and we'll become wise. 1 Corinthians 15 and 33, it says bad company ruins good morals. Psalms 1 and 1 through 2, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of the sinner, nor sits in the seat of the scoffer, but his delight is in the law of the Lord. 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, do not be equally yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership does righteousness have with lawlessness? See, these scriptures are reminding you that as you connect with people, you become what they are. So, what if I told you that from the beginning of your life, the greater part of your success or non success has been caused by these things? Who you were born to, where you were born, what you spent, who you spent your childhood with, who you spent your young adulthood with, who you spent your mature adult life with. What if I told you that the person you love, cared for, live with, talk with on a regular basis has an enormous amount of, and spends an enormous amount of time with, has either been the single most important person to your success or failure? What if I told you that while you are responsible for your own success, joy, and happiness, those who you spend the most time with have an enormous influence on those areas of your life? As a matter of fact, it is well known that in order to have more in life or to achieve greater, it's going to require you to do some things. And you may not be comfortable with what I'm about to say. It's going to require that you look in the mirror, to see the failures or disappointments from three perspectives. What am I continuously failing in? Why am I continuously failing in that area? And am I willing to connect to the right person, place, or things or ideas to change? Success often requires some things that this woman in this story showed us that many people fail at. Success often requires that we move from a current place. That place can be physical. That place can be mental. That place can be ideological. But whatever it is, you've got to shift from that place. Success often requires that we move from certain people. From certain people. Success also often requires that we move from current behaviors. See, the truth is, sometimes the company you keep keeps blessings away from you. In 2024, I want to challenge you to fight for a better connectivity with God, with the right people, the right places, and the right ideas. I want to challenge you to look at your life and the areas that are draining the joy out of your life, the prosperity out of your life, the peace out of your life, the excellent relationship out of your life. I want to implore you to seek higher connectivity with people at higher levels than yourself. Bring something to the table It doesn't matter that the woman finds Jesus if she doesn't bring her faith. So in 2024, I want you to examine what do you bring to the table so that when you reach those people with higher connectivity, you also have something to offer. Pay attention to what's in people rather than just the physical showing. What did Jesus say? He said, I felt I felt power leaving my body. Ask yourself, how do I feel when I leave the people or the places that I connected with? Do I feel that they have given me something to walk away with that makes me better? How do I feel when I leave this person that I'm closest to? What do their spirit, what do their words speak to me? Remember when she leaves Jesus, he says, go in peace. So her connection not only brought her healing, but it brought her what? Peace. So there's some things you're going to have to face in 2024 when it comes to this next level of connectivity, this challenge to our success. There are some things you're going to have to face in 2024, some questions you're going to have to answer, some things you're going to have to accept. Let me give you a few. You may have to accept that the people best for your life aren't always the people you have always known. Did you hear that? You might have to accept that the people that you've always known may not be the best people for your success. Now, some of you are very proud. I know, I understand, I get it. Some of you are very proud of your closeness to certain people, certain ideas, certain places, things you've always known, people you've always known, places you grew up, family, friends you grew up with. But that's because you have shielded yourself from accountability. You will not allow anyone outside of you to do an assessment of your life based on things that may not be comfortable to look at. And so we stay in the place with the people, with the ideas and the attitudes that we've always had because they don't challenge us to get better or do better. Now, the woman with the issue of blood is like many of us, except for she was willing to strike out. We have to be willing to strike out and connect with people at different levels. We have to be willing to connect with people that can bring change in our lives. See, when you connect with people at higher levels, there are some things you have to think about, such as your age versus success in life. Now, I'm not telling you that you can't become successful at any age. I'm just saying the sooner you do, the longer you have to enjoy the success. See, then you have time to teach others how to achieve the success. I'm always impressed with 80-year-olds who go back to school. But I found it even more impressive when I meet an 18-year-old who will just listen. Now that's a rare achievement. Because if you can find an 18-year-old that will listen early in their lives, they can achieve greater. The people around you and their ability to help you is imperative. It's important. The people around you ability to help you become more successful is imperative. So I have to ask you questions because I'm teaching today. I'm not trying to excite you. I'm teaching. Look at this woman. What happens if she stays in the place she's at and continue to do the things she was doing? So there's a behavior shift she had to have. She had to learn that the things I'm doing are not what? Working. She had to learn to hear opportunity. Uh-uh. I'm teaching better than you're responding. She had to learn to hear. Now, what happens if she hears about Jesus but says, well, that doesn't sound impressive enough. I don't have time. It's going to take me too much travel. I'm going to have to do. You know how we do. We have 1,000 reasons why we cannot get to the right place, the right person, the right ideas, or the right people for our lives to change to go to the next level. So I got some questions. I'm just going to ask a few things, and maybe maybe I'm off, but do you even go anywhere other than your work and home? Like, you're talking about the level of success that you want, the level of change that you want, the place that you want to be. Do you even go anywhere other than work and home? Do you belong to anything outside of just your family members and your friends? Are you a part of anything that will allow you to connect with people who have thriving ideas, thriving motivations, thriving lifestyle? Shoot, I made a new connection this year, and recently I was asking them for a little time to discuss some wealth ideas and some things they were doing. And they was like, yeah, I'll get with you right after I had come from Paris. I was like, oh, excuse me. I mean, everybody ain't, you know how we get? We get appalled by success. We get appalled by people who are doing great things, but we claim that's what we want. But the person says, I'm going to be in Paris, my wife and I, for 9 days. We've had a great 2023. This is our time to relax. Now, see, some of you won't connect with people that can get you to Paris. You cool with Philadelphia. You cool with all the other P's, Pennsylvania. What's some of the other P's? I don't know. You cool with all those, but this person said, no, I'm going to Paris. See, that is a connection that I want. That's a level of connectivity that brings me up. So guess what? I've got to be willing to get out of my comfort zone, and whatever they say to me, I got to be willing to hear it and shift because that's the level of connectivity I want. Your level of decision making, it has to go to another level. Your level of decision making. See, this woman with the issue of blood realized I'm panicking, I'm spending money, I'm doing all these things. This is not working, but I did hear. So now I've got an opportunity to change my decisions because this part here is not working. And I'm saying to you, if you're going to get to the next level in connectivity, then it behooves you that you've got to change your level of decision making. You got to start thinking about how does my decisions affect my spiritual life, my physical life, my personal wealth, my relationship success, my overall happiness. You got to ask yourself, as I look at 2023 and the past, What's my level of connectivity? What has the people I've spent the majority of my time with brought to my life? And some of you all don't understand that you're not young. I know people have lied to you and told you that 50 is middle age. Well, that's only if you're going to live to be 100. 50 is not middle age if you're going to be the average person as a female who lives to be 80 and a male who lives to be 77. You're not middle age. You're you're 3/4 age. Or you're 80% age, whatever that is. So you don't have 30, 40 years to keep spending with people that cannot help you get to the next level. This is the power of connectivity, because I told you, as the people you connect with grow, as the people you connect with advance, as the people you connect with go to next level, then you, by ways of being connected to them, you start ascending in life yourself. Now I know some closed-minded people are going to say, Pastor, money ain't everything. Success ain't everything. And that's why I'm going to say this to those people. That's why you don't have neither one. Because you say dumb stuff like that. No, it's not everything. No, it's not the end all. But it is a reflection that you are beginning to understand how life works. You are beginning to understand that as I connect with those who want more, even in Christ Jesus, that my spiritual life grows. Even in the natural, that my natural life grows. Even in our health, my health becomes better. Even in our wealth, my wealth becomes better. Meanwhile, you really believe that by sending your child to college, that it means they'll have a better life than you. No, they're going to have the normal life, the same life that's killing you right now. Because you haven't taught them that all of their friends don't have to be fun. You haven't taught them that all of their friends or the people they connect with don't have to be people they like. You know, one of the greatest issues is that we think everybody we come into connectivity with have to be people that makes us feel good. We fail sometimes to understand that sometimes the reason we need to connect to people is because they challenge us. They're willing to say to us the hard thing, and they're willing to keep us on task to having a great life. Abnormal blessings don't come from normal affiliations, normal associations, normal acclamations, normal affirmations. We want abnormal with normal. We want greatness with normal. Some of us are a trip. I'm just saying, we're 40 and we're 50 plus, and we've been bleeding in the same area of our lives for years, and we just continue to sit in that mess. We have a piss poor spiritual life, but you know your best friend is also has a piss poor spiritual life. So here you are with a piss poor spiritual life, and your connectivity has a piss poor spiritual life. And then you're saying, I want to be close to Jesus. We have a piss poor relationship. Our relationships aren't good. No, we just keep connecting to people who their relationships aren't good. Our favorite marriage couple is the one who has a lot of fun, not the one that's seeing growth, not the one that God is blessing, not the one that God is taking to the next level spiritually. Find it now. We want to be around those people because they're fun. We got terrible finances, but we don't want to reach out and search out the right connectivity to get better in our finances. No, we're 40, we're 50, we're 60 years old, and we're still walking around thinking $20,000 is a lot of money. We're still walking around thinking $100,000 is a lot of money. Honey, it's a lot of money when you're in the circle of people who got zero. But when you start going to next levels, I don't know who I'm helping. When you start going to higher connectivity, honey, you'll realize that 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, that's the bare minimum at that level because they're operating in higher connectivity. They're saying, I'm a millionaire, but I'm reaching out to billionaires. They're saying, I'm a thousandaire, but I'm reaching out to millionaires. See, every level you're at, there's a level above you. We know that Jesus Christ sits as the supreme connection. Okay. I'm just trying to help somebody. Maybe it's just me. I'm just trying to help. I'm telling you that if you're bleeding in your finances, bleeding in your wealth, bleeding in your emotional state, that God has sent me to tell you before it's too late that you got to reassess what, who, where, and the ideas that you are connected to. I'm telling you now before it's too late. Look at your parents' life. Look at your life. And if you don't change your children's life, it'll be somewhere between or somewhere in the middle of both of those lives. Now, if your next level and your parents' life is next level and they reach somewhere in the middle, okay. But for most of us, that's a sucky proposition. You mean to say that we are bleeding to death in our finances? And that's what we're going to pass down to our children or child? You mean we're bleeding to death in our marriage, and that's what we're going to pass down to our children or our child? You mean we work the average job and we're going to pass that down to our children? So we hate the struggle ourselves, but we're going to pass that down to our kids? Too many of us like being the most powerful person in every room. We look down on successful people, even though internally we're envious of their success. Okay, then just bleed to death. You know what the woman with the issue of blood had that most of us lack? The scripture says she had desperation. Desperation, that's the feeling that you have when you're in such a bad situation that you're willing to take risk in order to change it. For some people in life, failure is an option. For some people in life, it's not possible that they would humble themselves under a new connection. For some people, they say my privacy is more important than the privilege of the right connectivity. In 2024, I want to say something to you as the leadership church and what's going to be required of us to have next level connectivity. We're going to have to be real. We're going to need resources. That means that everybody who is connected to the ministry is going to have to say, I'm willing to input my resources without prejudice, without saying, well, that's someone else. You know, somebody told me the other day and said, the reason I never gave properly, Pastor, and I have to be honest with you, is that I always thought everybody else was doing it. So I just said, you know, they're not going to miss my $100 a week. No, and I said to them, I said, yeah, but that's a convenient excuse. So it's going to take us to be real It's going to take us to be engaged. When you have connectivity, there has to be a level of engagement. It's going to take for us to be available or availability. Some of us are never available for the connection that you said God brought you to the leadership church for. We can't reach you. You don't volunteer. You don't ask what more needs to be done. You don't try to see if you can do anything. You just say, I'll wait for them. But what did I tell you? In order for any connectivity to be successful, both parties have to come with something. She came with her faith. Jesus came with the power to heal. And then finally, it's going to take love. See, when she reached Jesus, it wasn't that she was due to be healed. It wasn't that she qualified through her work to be healed. It was his love. It was his love. So this idea about connectivity is what we're going to talk about throughout 2024. Next level connectivity. Because I believe that far too many of us have lived a mediocre life because we've had the mediocre connectivity. I want you to take your calendar of 2023. And if you don't have a calendar, I want you to be honest. You know pretty much what you did. And I want you to start writing down where you spent a lot of your time, who you spent a lot of your time with. And then I want you to grade it and rate it on the results it brought you. Okay. I want you to rate it and grade it. You say, well, I spent a lot of time hanging with the family. I'm a big family man. I love my family. I do. I love my family. But you still got to decide if I can give all of this time I gave in 2023 to them, because as I look at the results, we just had a good time. Nobody in the family got healthier. Nobody in the family got wealthier. Nobody in the family found more Jesus Christ. Nobody in the family business flourished. We got together a lot though. That's in every area of your life. You got to evaluate your connectivity. And I want you to take your 2023 calendar and look at it and say, wow, these are the things I would most, and I can say to you now, for most of you, especially if you're part of the leadership church, you can't say we took up a lot of your time, because unfortunately, as your leader, I can say a lot of you were not connected. Yeah, it was hit and miss. You were that basic connection for cable. So you can't look at the leadership church and say, oh, they consume so much. No, we didn't do that. We wanted more. But remember, both parties have to come together. But you got to evaluate your level of connectivity in every aspect of your life. Because some of us are giving high level connectivity where there's low level production or outcome, low level returns. Start with Jesus Christ. Look at your 2023. What was your connection with him? Start with the ministry you are a part of. What was your level of connection? Start with your marriage. What was the level of connection? Start with your finances. Who did you find that was at another level, at a greater level than you, and you connected with them? Because I believe God gave me a prophetic word that says in 2024, tell the people that their success is going to greatly increase at the rate of the level of their connectivity. And so, number one, if you're out there and you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, that's a next level connectivity. You need to give him your heart and your soul. You need to come out of 2023 year of sin. You need to give him your soul, your life. Just tell him, Lord, I believe that you were born through the Virgin Mary. I believe that you walked the earth as a man. I believe that you died on the cross. I believe you were buried in the grave, and in 3 days you rose with all power in your hand. You've given him your life. Second level connectivity. Find a ministry like the Leadership Church. Sow your gifts and talents. I've said to you all of 2023, we want people who have the gift of writing, who love administration, who love technology, who have the gift of orating or can speak, and you know that's your call. We want to use your gifts for the glory of God. And finally, I'm asking all of the Leadership Church, as we go at the end, the beginning of this year, we're going to go on our 2024 21 day fast. I hope I got that right. Our Connect 21 challenge. Our Connect 21 challenge. We're going to be fasting. I'm going to ask that everyone in the Leadership Church will also include a monetary fast, a financial fast with that, where for 21 days that you don't spend anything unnecessary and that you try your best to see what more you can do to make sure your ministry flourish, to make sure that the men and women of God that does this work are blessed because of your gift that God has blessed you with. I'm super excited about 2024, the year of connectivity. Our scriptures comes from, it says that iron sharpens iron. We're going to have an amazing 2024, but it's going to take you being a part of that connectivity. So on behalf of myself, Pastor Elisha, and our lead elder, Elder Jeanette Pollock, all of the deacons, all of the ministers, all of the lay persons that make up this great work of Jesus Christ, I want to say thank you for joining the leadership broadcast today. And may God bless you and your family. Make it an amazing Sunday.